Are you still an elementary school teacher by any chance?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I am still
How,
teaching.
how is it right now with everything that's going on? Like, I mean, how difficult or easy is it to be able to deal with classrooms?
Um, there are some challenges. There are definitely some challenges. I knew there were going to be some challenges,
Yeah.
especially going about it this way because I've never done anything like this before.
Right.
And to be able to have to come up with lessons, making sure that the children are still engaged and that they're doing the work.
What grades do you teach?
So right now, so last year I taught first grade. This year I'm actually doing 7, 8.
Okay,
So
that's a huge jump. What? Yeah.
like the language changes because before
Yeah.
last year I was talking to these 4-year-olds as if they
Yeah.
were like 13, 14 years old or 12
Yeah.
and 13 years old. I'm like, wait, they don't understand that. You have to like literally speak to them as if it's the first time they're hearing about things. So, going from grade 1 to grade 7, 8, where they're way more independent, they don't even want to talk to you, to be honest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So the language changes, how you interact with them. But for me, I'm able to relate with both grade 1 and 7, 8. So it's been good. It's been good, challenging, obviously, but
I remember how it was in grade 7, 8. So I
you remember your teacher's name?
uh I remember one of them because we had multiple teachers, right? Multiple teachers. I remember Mr. Barrett, cool teacher, art teacher / science teacher. I don't.
Okay.
That's my guy. I remember my music teacher, Miss Clark. Shout out to Miss Clark. Okay, yeah. I remember a couple of them. I remember.
Okay. I was trying to ask people that because I've realized whether a teacher was bad or good, you'll remember them.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
So,
That's very, very true.
like for me, I try and make sure that, I'm making a positive impression on my students because, once they leave me, that's the last time,
Yeah.
whatever their last impression of me is, right?
I'm not gonna lie, man. I'm one of those weird people that like school. Like I love school.
Yeah.
And
Nothing wrong with that. Why is that weird?
I know there's
Why is
nothing
that
wrong with
weird,
that. No, I agree. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I know.
Okay.
Yeah. No, but like a lot of people hate school. Man, like the amount of teachers that have influenced and impact me is like on another level. Like I could probably name like 15 teachers that have said something to me that has kind of stuck, when there's just that one moment you have where you're like, oh shit, like, right. They said, so
I have that. I've had that moment lots of times. I always talk about my 6th grade teacher, Mr. Bokla. He's the reason why I continued basketball because he saw something in me.
Right.
So him telling me that allowed me to believe in myself even more, which is why
led to
I pursued basketball. Right. So I hope to make that sort of impact on my students or players that I coach. That I'm a part of why they wanted to do something, or Mr. Faulkner said this to me. Right. That's why I'm doing it, or you know what I mean. So teachers are important, man.
Is it weird to go from being called Jason to being called Mr. Faulkner?
No, I actually like that.
You like this distinction?
I like it.
Is it like I mean, I want to ask you this because a lot of what you do has to do with teaching and kind of compelling the youth when it comes to you being a teacher, whether it be your clothing brand, which is about anti-bullying, and what you've done all around the world in terms of teaching the game of basketball as well. Like, so what compels you to really be so involved with youth? Like, what was that thing that you found out, like, okay, I like to teach kids and kind of empower them?
I don't know. I always found myself working with kids. I always, like, even growing up, going to church, I was involved in church a lot, and I always ended up doing stuff with the youth, doing stuff with kids. And originally, I wanted to get into education when I went to university, but after my first year at Bradley, I came home early and I visited my high school teacher, and I told him I was thinking about education. He told me, "Don't do it. It doesn't pay the bills." Right? So I was like, yo, okay, I guess I'm not doing education then. And I ended up getting a degree in advertising and marketing. But after I got my degree, I wasn't really able to use it because I started playing right away. And even when I was overseas, I was involved in the community working with kids, doing basketball camps and clinics, volunteering. And then once I finished playing, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go back to school and be a teacher because this is crazy. Who you fooling? You know? And the cool thing about it is that I'm teaching in the community I grew up in. So I'm back in Rexdale teaching at one of the schools, and just trying to make a big impact, man. Like no one came back to kind of instruct me or guide me on what I need to do to be successful, or you know what I mean, as far as
Right.
sports or even school. So I'm like, I have the tools. I've done it. Let me be a teacher. Let me not only teach these kids some life skills, obviously teach them academic, but just teach them, life skills as well. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's been a cool transition to see that, and the development from where a lot of the kids have been to where they are now, and the development of myself was been has been good.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. I mean, you wear a lot of different hats. How do you juggle all of it? Like, how do you stay in front of everything?
Um, you know what? I don't know. I don't know. Sometimes I don't even know the amount of stuff that I'm doing. I just really, I don't know. I just really like learning new things and just
Mhm.
keeping myself sharp. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My mom always told me to always learn, always try and learn something new.
Right.
You know,
Right. Yeah.
so I'm always trying to challenge myself in some way, and stay sharp at all times, because you never know that certain skill or something that you're doing, you might meet someone, or connect with someone on a different level
Hmm.
based on a new skill or something that you've learned. You're able to communicate and talk about. So I
Yeah.
always find myself learning something new.
That's interesting. I mean, you are very similar in that way. I love learning too. Literally, like my motto is like, if you improve yourself every day, that's the only improvement that
Right.
you.
Lifelong learners, man. We're
Exactly.
lifelong learners.
Yeah.
Especially as a teacher, you're always trying to learn something new, especially, your craft as a teacher, like building some personal skill,
Mhm.
just to help others. So
Right.